She raised kids by day
Paige was a soccer mom.
and peddled fantasies by night.
Hello, you've reached Models Inc.
But this loving mother's double life caught up to her, leading to a shocking disappearance.
Hey, Mom, you are really, really mean. You said you would be back when we were dark, and you haven't even been back.
She would never have not come home.
A bounty of suspects.
I don't kill anybody over sex.
And a mystery that would take nearly a decade to unravel.
We were still stuck with the reality that we didn't have a body.
Paige Bergfeld, a 34-year-old mother of 3 young children, was living the picture-perfect life.
Paige was one of those people that just exuded happiness. When she showed up, you knew she was going to show up with a smile because she just had that in her all the time.
Paige was always very big about having her family on display. She would just be radiant when her kids were out playing, and the most so when it was her brother and his family. That was even the highest degree of radiancy.
She loved family.
Oh yeah, then her kids were everything.
Her husband, Rob Dixon, came from a wealthy family, and settling in Grand Junction, Colorado, Paige enjoyed a caviar life in a corn dog town.
He was wealthy, so they bought the house in Grand Junction and then added to it.
But according to District Attorney Dan Rubenstein, Paradise was not without its troubles.
They had somewhat of a tumultuous relationship. He would get angry. He would yell loudly. He would make threats or statements that would cause people to be very concerned.
As the couple's finances grew more strained, Paige's father, Frank, was concerned for his daughter's safety.
Dixon is a person that's kind of two personalities. We think of him as good Rob and bad Rob. And at the first part, it was 100% good Rob. And I think as his financial situation deteriorated, we saw a lot more of bad Rob.
She had told me she was very concerned about something bad happening.
In October of 2004, Paige made a distressing 911 call.
911, where's your emergency?
My husband and I were in a fight. He wanted the children to stay with him, and he said that I would come home and find them all murdered.
What's your name, ma'am?
Paige Dixon.
The situation was diffused by police and no charges were filed against Rob. But a year later, Paige placed a second call claiming physical abuse.
After the second incident, I set up a bank account. It was getaway money. I wanted her to be able to pick up and leave with the kids if she needed to.
After 8 years of marriage, Paige and Dixon divorced. But now she faced the burden of maintaining that luxurious lifestyle on her own.
Paige was enormously entrepreneurial. She started out by setting up this little series of dance studios for kids. She called it Brain Dance. And then she went into Pampered Chef and was taking trips for awards, so she looked like she was doing well there. She had another business where she was selling these slings for nursing mothers. So she was cobbling together things.
She was one of those people that could juggle an incredibly full life and yet still be there with her children.
She had a pretty nice house, I think 4,000 or plus square foot house, and her 3 kids slept in her bed with her every night. That's really who she was.
She had quietly begun a romance with her first husband, Ron Beigler, a high school sweetheart she briefly married after graduation.
He was the first big love.
Ron and Paige kept in touch and started rekindling their relationship.
Beigler lived 250 miles away in Denver, so the two arranged to meet halfway at a rest stop in the town of Eagle.
On the day she was last seen, Paige Bergfeld left her $1 million home here to meet with one of her ex-husbands. Sadly, the young mother would never be seen again.
Thursday, June 28th. Paige and Beigler enjoy a picnic lunch before she begins the 2-hour drive back to Grand Junction around 7 p.m. By 11 o'clock that night, she still wasn't home, and her young kids were growing distraught. You can hear the worry on this voicemail.
Hi, Mom. I was just wondering when you were gonna get home, Ron.
Even her first ex, Ron Beigler, was growing distressed. When Paige still wasn't home the next morning, he makes a call to the Grand Junction police.
Dispatch, this is Clint.
Yes, I needed to talk to you about a missing person emergency.
We really have very little sense of exactly what happened. What we do know is that her kids were expecting her home. They ultimately reported her missing on that Saturday morning after leaving countless messages for her. Her first husband, Ron Beigler, was leaving messages for her.
Sorry, Mom, you are really, really mean. You said you would be back when we were dark, and you haven't even been back. And we're really asking you, please call back quickly.
Frank gets a call he can still remember as if it were yesterday.
And he said, "Are you Paige Bergfeld's dad?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And then he said, "Did you know she's missing?" This was Saturday morning about 10:30 on June the 30th. And I said, "If she didn't come home, even a night, you're dealing with a crime. This isn't a missing persons matter. This is a crime."
Paige is 7:20 on Saturday. Give me a call on my cell phone to stand by.
She would never have not come home.
There was nothing ever in her life that would cause her to just pack up and leave her kids at home. They meant so much to her.
We never assume that's going to happen, and we never assume it's going to be me.
Police Investigation 101. Start looking at those closest to Paige.
Everyone's a suspect, and ex-husbands immediately are right up there.
Detectives seek out Ron Beigler in Denver, Paige's last known contact and the same man who made the initial missing persons call.
Well, he was the last one to see her, which made him a person to talk to.
Phone records indicate he and Paige called each other on the drive home, with Beigler's phone pinging cell towers in Denver, 250 miles away. The last call was made by Paige at approximately 9 p.m., saying that she was pulling into Grand Junction.
And that was the last phone call she ever made.
Her first ex is quickly eliminated. So cops turned their attention to Rob Dixon, Paige's second husband, who was now living in Philadelphia.
A lot of people thought that Rob was the most likely suspect, just because their breakup was not the most amicable.
What was their breakup like?
There was a misdemeanor domestic violence case reported. You know, I think that sort of volatility led a lot of people to think that he was part of this.
The last time Paige's close friend Barbara Campbell saw her, Paige confided that she had an ominous feeling.
She was really upset with something, and she was worried because she felt that something bad was about to happen.
Detectives want to speak with Paige's ex, but have no idea that this case is about to be blown wide open. Up next.
Hi, I'm at the corner of 23 and Logos, and there is a car on fire in the parking lot.
Cops find Paige's car, and you won't believe what else.
Are you saying that I killed her? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.